Good morning. Welcome to Bloom Your Business. I'm Julie Pearson from England. I'm a floral designer and trainer, and I'm here to share my ideas, my concepts, using beautiful floral material and using containers that really appeal to me, that I have kind of an affinity with or enjoy using. I'll be sharing techniques, ideas, and hopefully we'll have a nice time. My first design I'm going to use as what we consider a design for corporate, and so it's going to go into more of a stylish environment, and hence the metal, the glass, the transparency. So one would consider perhaps in the placement it would reflect that really. It's in keeping with its environment. And so what I've done initially, this is just a wrought iron frame which we've sprayed with an aerosol to give it an additional colour but also texture, in which my binding materials will actually connect to. And what I've got first of all, which I was really excited about, it's actually a waste product. It's hollow glass, which is actually quite hardy. I'm quite excited about this. It kind of the light bounces around. In order to get the mechanics, we kind of explored with this idea, and the best way we decided was actually to use fishing wire, which again is transparent. And what we did, because this is hollow, you can hear that. So I take that through. And if we were just to leave that, then obviously it's going to continue moving. And so to anchor it, we go around and through again. And so that gives us a really good, secure point where you can see actually that's not going to move. You can't see it, and so this is what I've done through here, creating random shapes, creating negative space within the design. So it is random, it's not uniform, we've got different size shapes and so on. And so because we've used the fishing wire, you can't actually see it from a distance. And just to finish, I don't know whether you can see, but I've actually used Schwarzkopf crystals at the end. So again, so when it goes into an environment where you've got direct light, it's going to bounce around and hopefully add some colour. In contrast to that, I've used some of the beautiful wood from the grapevine, which is this again is an environmental. This is a vineyard which is basically probably about 200 years old, which is basically it came to the end of its life, and so we've recycled it, polished it, and so that's beautiful. The kind of the contorted, the earthy look is a beautiful contrast to the shiny clear glass. And again, I've just attached that. For my mechanics for my water, I've used again glass, taking the same medium, repetition. I've used silver wire to secure that. Yeah, I don't know if you can see, but it's just clear water. Obviously, they need to be clean, and it does help. And I've secured that using, again, you can get these in plastic, but these are actually glass. It's appropriate, it's in keeping. If we have issues with economy or transportation, then I would use the plastic. So we're taking 2 lengths of wire. And this is probably a gauge, a 3.32 gauge wire, silver, so it's decorative. And all I'm doing is just literally binding that in 2 places. So that's one at the top and one below. So we've got 2 points of anchorage. And so the test tubes, we have full control on where the test tubes are going. And so then you would just secure that to your frame or to the glass. Also, you can use that also to use that for additional mechanics and security. So that's kind of how we've assembled this basic design, which I think is effective. It is a double-sided design, but most of the mechanics are on the back, so your clients would see that from the front. So I'm just going to turn this round. I have some beautiful material, really exciting. We've got the exotic, the highly scented, beautiful. They are so scented. Look at that, swirl and bulbous, the buds, the textures, the colours. Look at that, it's like a sea urchin. It's beautiful. Or a jellyfish, you can just imagine that swimming in the sea. It's beautiful, just look. And the perfume is just amazing. Isn't that lovely? So we have to be quite delicate with these. Even though they're very turgid, they've been in water now for a good 24 hours. That's really important. And in contrast, we've got, just look at that, the beautiful dahlia with its lots of petals, similar colours, similar hues, but total contrast. This is delicate, but that actually, it looks artificial, dare I say that. Beautiful. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to take the passiflora. I don't know if you can see, but again using the fish wire, so I'm using the same medium for anchorage. Cutting the stem, I use a knife, which is important. A knife is more sympathetic to the stem. You can cut the angle at a 45 degrees, so it gives an overall more surface area to absorb water. And likewise, if you're going to put it in a medium, then it's a clearer piercing as well. So my test tubes are already filled with water. I'm just going to place that in. There's a bit of a squeak. And I've already threaded the wire onto there so I can secure, because at the moment it will be a little bit top heavy. So just taking that weight off. And because I want it kind of accentuating and following the line, I'm going to have that going through there, and I'm just going to exaggerate that and tie that into here. It's that beautiful white in contrast to the green. The green is almost luminous, it's beautiful. Just taking those threads off. So that would be inside there. It's that kind of finish that defines us as being florists or designers, is that extra detail of finish and placement. If it was a pudding, look at that, beautiful. Just a colour. So I think, yes, I might have to take that one off. So we'll come round the back, just into there, slip that in. Look at the movement, the gracefulness. Gorgeous. Just tie that in place. So it's quite discreet. It's wonderful, the fish wire. I want it to come down, kind of just gracefully come to the centre. This one we've taken all the foliage off this because we want the buds, that's really what the form, the texture of the buds and placement, so we've taken the foliage off. Because with roses, and generally speaking, foliages, often flowers that have lots of foliage, it takes up water before it actually gets to the head, and so which can be quite detrimental to the head. So by taking the foliage off, especially if it's quite insignificant, then actually that greatly improves the water absorption. And this design, because it's quite clear, clean lines, then again it was not appropriate to have the foliage on. Look at that, just dancing. Just tie that together. So this design, really, you're selling space to your clients. For the sake of a few choice material, beautiful vine and flowers. Amazing talking point. It's quite a large design with only limited materials. Secure that one onto there. design, it did take quite a long time to actually make this design, the actual base and so on, but it's an investment. If you have a number of corporate clients, the thing is this would go into situ for a week, and then you'd have another contrasting selection of designs that you'd actually have in your hotels or receptions, whatever, but then you bring them back to base, you change the flowers, but actually your mechanics, your basic stand, you could use over and over again, so it's an investment in your time. And so it might be possibly at a quiet period, or your staff are perhaps twiddling their thumbs one day, rather than cleaning and so on, which is quite essential. Give your staff the opportunity to explore and play. Get those glass vials that you've had for 2 years in the box, and give your staff the opportunity to explore and play. That's the best way of actually developing yourself. So I'll just turn this round, although it's far from finished, but can you see the movement, the gracefulness that I wanted to achieve? We've got this void here, this negative space, and so we've kind of enhanced that. I've created the 3-dimension because I've gone from the container and coming wider, and so we've got that graduation, both in the placement of the buds, and really this is my focal flower. This is my boldest, my choicest material at the moment. I'm just going to add another of the passiflora, just a little one. I've not filled this in test tubes. The test tubes can be tricky to actually place the water in. So this is from a science lab. And basically you just squeeze it and it fills up with water. It's much more refined than trying to do it with a jug or a cup even. So again, cutting my stem at an angle. I'm going to use that piece of thread just to hold that in situ. Oh, it's so delicate. I don't want to break it. I'm just going to get some chicken wire. It's not chicken wire, it's actually fish wire. Okay, so that's my passiflora. My intention is basically they're not on 2 levels. We've created movement, taking your eye from here through to this side. If they were on the same level, that would be incorrect, because all you'd see then, to the naked eye, you would just see this block of colour because your eye would be taken from here to here. But because we've got a higher and a lower, then you have that lovely movement, that gracefulness. So in contrast, I'm going to use our dahlias, and in the test tubes that I've already filled, I'm going to play this. It's important that you maintain these materials. Dahlias in particular are very thirsty flowers, and so these glass vials need filling up on a daily basis. It's important that the water that you use has flower food in. We have many sources of that in our industry, but because basically when a stem is cut from its bulb or its cone or its root, then we need to replenish that nourishment, which is really important that we use the flower food. And we actually give flower food to our clients. Because that's what guarantees the quality the longest possible. So that's my design finished. And again, we've got the 3 dahlias. I've used the largest. So again, there's some gracefulness there, there's some movement. We've got the largest, boldest here. So there's a placement of 3 there, slightly different sizes. So that's taking you right to the base as well. So it's in contrast to the wood. So we've got quite a simple frame. We've attached the mechanics, which again are quite insignificant. They were recycled. We've got the test tubes that we've secured. So actually this will travel really well. But I think really for a few choice materials, that's a big impact, very visual. Thank you.